What's good, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? JDaisy here with the JDaisy Gaming Channel, here with a little early access tiny game, Quarantine. If Plague Inc. had a double ganger, this would be it. Where Plague Inc. is you are the virus trying to kill humanity, this is you are humanity trying to save yourself from a virus, bacteria, or things of that nature. It's in early access, so it just came out in early access, so it is very, very rough bones. But I saw some people that were being asked to play it. I am not. This is not sponsored in any shape, way, or form. But I played it a little bit, about 2 hours in it, and enough that I figured we can give a quick little early review. It's at $14.99 on Steam Early Access, like I said. And so the video won't be majorly long, I promise. And the way it works is it's a turn-based game where you are playing against the virus, which also uses this turn. And in your turns, you use operators, or pretty much the characters, to do certain things in those turns. Whether that be quarantine a city, treating infected, or getting samples to research a cure, or setting up an outpost to make more money. And the game is kind of quick-paced at the beginning and then dies off very quickly at the end, and that's kind of my biggest flaw with the game. So you'll notice in the screen certain cities are red, and that's where the virus is, and it has pretty much 4 different chunks before it takes over, and each turn I think the virus either gets like 2 or 3 moves from what I've assessed. And if you at the very beginning, when you are starting the game, you get to pick what your main person is, whether that be medic, security, diplomat, or researcher. And I always went medic because instead of treating one of those 4 circles, they treat 2 of them. And since the virus can only go like 1 or 2 moves per turn, it makes it really simple. And the way it plays out, as all my games have pretty much gone, I've done about 4 different matches. Is it pretty much plays out that you start off really low, and the virus is kind of taking hold, and about the second you get 2, maybe 3 operators, because each one of them can do a move per turn. About the second you start getting 2 or 3 operators where you can start handling each individual city, solving the cure, and if it starts to spread a little bit, you just quarantine a city that's connected to the lines, because the virus can only travel over those lines. You just quarantine the city that the line is going to, and now the virus can't spread, and then you just are, treating the wounds of the virus per se. So the problem with the only problem I have with the game right now is that once you're on top of the virus, it just is really simple. You're just playing out the clock, researching the cure. You research the cure by sending an operator to a city and getting samples, and that gives you either 1 or 2 or 3 of the points you need to get the cure. And you need 4 points to get a cure, and the cure normally has like 3 or 4 parts. In the course of the game, the virus can mutate and add more parts to it, which makes it harder and harder to fight, which is nice. But like I said, once you're on top of it, that really doesn't matter. It's just a time thing. Once you quarantine a city, it gets like 1 or 2 shields, or I think it's 2 shields, probably 3 if you play as the military. And the virus, each one of those turns can attack that shield. So if you start off with 2 and that next turn, the virus hits that city again. Now it only has 1 shield and then 1. So it can get through the quarantine, but then you just rotate a person over there and re-shield it up. That's my biggest complaint with the game, is that it's really, once you're on top of it, it's really hard for the virus or the bacteria, whatever, to get to do anything, and it's just a matter of time game. Even though it's turn-based, it kind of has a quicker pace mentality to it, which I like. It's not as quick-paced as, say, Plague Inc. or something. And it has a fairly decent level of detail. The map is nice. It's kind of like Plague Inc., where it's cool to stare at the Earth and watch this kind of spread and you taking control. But at the same time, if you zoom in, it kind of adds a little detail. There is a research tree, as you see, that just makes your operators that much more effective. And because they do get hurt and you can't lose them. And if you lose, like in my first match, I lost all but 4 of the operators that I had left. And if I would have lost them, I would have just only had 3 operators, and so far and so forth. It does have these random pop-up events that if you succeed, nothing really happens, but if you fail, the virus really, really spreads. like in the one, I lost a good chunk of South America. I lost a whole city. And pretty much in the upper left-hand corner, if you see, there's always a chart of people. If that chart ever gets full, that's auto lose. I've never lost a game yet, not trying to brag. So the game's fun. It's just very short-lived. I do like it. Do not get me wrong. It's just for $14.99. I would like a little more substance. It is in early access, so hopefully they add more. Games like this, I think really need the Steam Workshop so that you can add more things in and out into it. But you know, some developers don't like that. It's just there's not enough to this game. Really. If it was like a $7 game, I think it would be really great. You know, it'd be worth your $7. But for 14, it kind of like once you played like my 2 hours, and I'm pretty much done. There's not a whole lot more that can offer to me. It's a fun game, and it's worth picking up. And hopefully, I really do hope they add more to it. So don't knock this as my final say in the game. If they add more to the early, since it is early access, and they add more and more, and you know, broaden it out. You know, that's definitely worth mentioning. But as it sits right now, you know, $7. Maybe if you have hope for it in early access, or you know the developers that were having, maybe go for it after 14. But for right now at 14, I'd say just kind of watch it, unless you really like to play Ink, but you want to play on the other side and you really enjoy turn-based games. Good on you. I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money, but for me, at $14, it was just a little hefty on the price. But, you know, let me know what you guys think. Leave it down in the comment section below if you played the game or just what you think from watching. Or if you have any other options or suggestions for games you'd like to have reviewed or shown. As always, you can hit me up in the social media or on the comment section below. But yeah, guys, that's Quarantine. I will look forward to seeing you in the next one. As always, we're all in this together. Have a good one.